We actually park, we come in through the asphalt driveway and then we park parallel to the road. And we go onto the gravel road and some of the grass.
Oh, as opposed to the long way on the driveway, you park to the side.
Right.
Okay,
Yep,
got
like
it.
this. So what we'd like to do is either put in recycled asphalt to cover the gravel and then 10 feet onto the grass. Or if not that, then gravel would be our second choice. Because what happens now in the spring with the thaw, and then whenever we get rain, this is just, the grass part just turns into mud puddles. And we end up not parking there, and then we end up backing out of the driveway, which I don't like to do. I'd rather be able to, like when we do it here, we just back up and then we can pull straight out.
Is that a drainage swale to the right?
I'm sorry.
Do you get water over here on the right side?
No, there's a ravine here,
Okay.
and there's storm drains, and it empties into this ravine that's over here. I think
Looks like you took some
I think I might
measurements.
have a better picture.
Yeah. So the only source of the water seems to be from the storm drain?
That's what I've been told by the neighbors. Yeah, that's the best
This,
picture.
yeah, here was one here, Mike, that I think he was telling me that was some of the wet area.
I mean, yeah, this isn't a good picture. But this might be a little better, I don't know. But the storm drains empty in here, and they go into this ravine.
So it's way up there? Is it, I thought it was like right over the spanking.
Well, I measured it from this road, and
Yeah.
from the edge of our property to about the middle of the ravine is about 25 feet.
Okay.
I'm sorry, what was that from the, Where?
From the edge of our property here to, and again, I just measured the best I could going from the road. I
Yep.
just got it estimated here, and I went out to what I thought was the middle of the ravine. It was about 25 feet
25 feet? From the edge of your property to the
from the
middle
edge
of the
of the
ravine?
property.
Okay.
And then from where we would like to do the driveway, it would be from the edge, if we put the driveway in, from the edge of the driveway, the new driveway to
Yeah.
the edge of our property would be another about 16 and a half feet.
Okay. So from where you would expand the driveway, from the edge of the expanded area to the edge of your property would
be
be about
another
16
16
feet?
and a half feet.
Okay. So 16 and then another 25 feet to
To about
the
the
middle of the
middle.
ravine? Okay.
Now, have you talked to anyone about what's involved in expanding, the asphalt portion of
I
the driveway?
talked to one company that if it gets approved, is gonna do it, and but he said, what, sorry,
That's okay.
they're gonna make it level with our asphalt driveway,
Okay.
and they said they would go down, they would put in 4 inches of recycled asphalt, so they would take up, the gravel driveway is about 2 inches lower than the asphalt, so they would probably end up, well, again, they'd go down 4 inches, but remove 4 inches of soil and put in 4 inches of asphalt.
Okay, and the material that they're going to remove, are they going to take that off-site, or are they going to
They're
try to
gonna take
reuse
it
it?
off-site.
Okay.
So would that make the expanded area level with the existing pavement that you have?
Yes.
It would, okay.
Did they give you any idea how long it would take for them to complete the job?
No, no, and I didn't think to ask.
Okay.
Any other questions?
Not by me.
This side of the table?
No, sounds like it's
Oh, thank you.
pretty simple.
Are there any abutters in the audience or anyone with public comment? Yes.
I just have one comment.
Could we just have your name and address for the record,
Yeah.
please?
Pat Kugel, I'm a...
My wife.
Oh, Mrs. Coleman, sorry.
But anyways, I was told, because we have my children and stepchildren, it's easy if we park this way in our driveway to the long way, that it's illegal to back out of our driveway, that it's supposed to be, because if there's ever an accident, we're going to be default because we can't back out. If we back out, we're at default.
It would just make it easier to,
Yeah, with the
Like
number of
this way,
cars
this
we
way,
have,
that.
to turn around so we can go out forward. This is one of the main reasons also.
I don't know, I think, this is a town street, right? Loring Street?
Yes.
Public way.
Yeah, it's a public way, but it's not a state road, so I
No.
don't know that that's necessarily true. But I will tell you, having been a claims adjuster for 10 years, that if you are backing out, you are more than 50% at fault. I will tell you that, that is true. But anyway, okay, if there aren't any other questions then, or any other comments, is there a motion to close?
So moved.
Second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, so voted, okay. Are you inclined to make a motion now, or do you want to?
I can do that. I would move to issue a negative determination of applicability.
Okay, is there a second on that?
I'll second that.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, so voted. That means that you're going to get a decision, it's called a determination of applicability, and it will be an answer to this, and it's going to basically, although you're subject to the regulations, you're not going to have to file a notice of intent, as long as you stick to what you presented to us.
so will I get something in writing?
Yes, we'll
saying
sign a
that?
document. In
Oh,
fact, Sheila,
okay.
if you have a signature page, we'll take it
Yeah.
to sign, and she'll prepare the document and send it to you, or you can pick it
Okay.
up, whichever.
All right, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you for your time, thanks for
It
coming
didn't
in.
matter what he used, I'm just, because he was talking about crumpled up,
Recycled asphalt, that's
right,
what he's
that
proposing.
can be used
Yep.
without, okay.
Yep. Okay. So we'll sign it tonight, but she'll prepare the rest of it.
Yeah, you're all set, you can go and I'll type it up tomorrow and I'll give you a call. Okay?
Thank you for all your help.
No, you're welcome.
Thanks, Mr.
Thank
Cole.
thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
There we go.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, good night.
Good
Good
night.
night.
Here we go. You'll be next another 5 minutes.
In the interim, do you want to discuss the minutes from the last meeting?
We can do that.
Do you have that? We don't have enough to vote. I wasn't here.
Oh, you were not, that's
So I
correct,
guess we won't talk about them.
I guess we won't. Okay. Hold that.
I know you're disappointed.
Thank you for
I'll
reminding
hold
me.
off my tears.
We have a request for a certificate of compliance for the New Cumberland Farms at the corner of Route 20 and South Street. They sent along the as-built plan. It looks,
Oh, it's shiny and new.
yes, it is.
Yes.
I think I'd still like to walk around though.
Yep.
Not been yet.
You haven't been there yet?
I've not been.
I haven't been on the site either. I do know there is a berm between the,
Yep,
that side of the parking lot, between there and the wetlands.
Uh-huh.
So I don't think anything's
there's a
going to...
mound,
Yeah, it's quite a
it's
mound.
like 6 feet.
Yeah.
Huh?
And they've got landscape on it.
Oh yeah, no, it looks very nice.
Yes.
So anyways, I'm going to add that to your list
Sure.
of site inspections, assuming the rest of you agree.
Yes, I think we need to always make a site visit to make sure.
Well, speaking of site visits, did you folks,
I went to William Street,
okay, we have those two on the agenda tonight.
Exactly. so we can talk about it.
Okay, did you go to Prospect or?
I didn't. I think I know I was away one weekend. And I think we were rained out at least one of the other weekends.
Right.
Dan and I were supposed to go, and then
Okay,
the
Weather
weather
intervened.
was not cooperative.
yes, I know what you are. Okay. Did you go to Bridge Street?
I did not.
Okay. Okay, let's see. Certified mail, return receipt requested, or certificate of mailing. I think Sheila's question about this is relative to the Auburn Wetlands bylaw. We had in the bylaw that abutters notices had to be sent by certified mail, return receipt requested.
Yeah.
And DEP allows the certificate of mailing to
Have that here.
to be substituted for that under the Wetlands Protection Act. And it's a lot less expensive for
Much
the
less
applicant
expensive. Sure.
to do that. So I think it would be appropriate for us to consider making it the same under the bylaw,
I agree.
under our rules. So if we are so inclined, then I think we should amend the regulations.
Do you have to have a hearing or anything to do
Well,
Yeah,
I
we
that?
think
can
we need
change
to a
our-
motion.
Just do it through a motion.
Oh, wonderful.
Change
Gentlemen, what do you
some-
think? Because I think with certified mail return receipts over $7 now
Right.
per piece of mail, so yeah, it's prohibitive, I think. In that case, I would make a motion to amend the Auburn Wetland bylaw to allow applicants to show proof of service by a certificate of mailing, in addition to certified mail return receipt request. We'll give them the option.
Okay.
What was that last sentence?
I need you to listen.
To the,
Okay.
instead of the certificate of mailing
In
instead
addition
of...
to,
in-
to give them the option of using a certificate of mailing
Okay.
One or the other.
instead of
Okay.
certified mail return
They
receipt
can do that,
requested.
or they can send a certificate of mailing.
Either or.
Okay.
Is there a second on that?
I'll second.
Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, so voted.
Great.
All right, so we'll do that. And that makes it consistent with the state
Yeah.
law, too.
That's fine.
I like this. That's a good way to do it.
Okay. I'm a little slow here, so is it 7:15 according to official time?
No, we have 2 more minutes, I
2
think.
more minutes?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't really see anything else that we can take out of order, so.
Okay.
Did anyone have any miscellaneous items that they wanted to bring up? No?
No.
Well, then I guess we can take a 2-minute recess until it's 7:15.
Okay.
Well,
It
there
is
was-
7:15.
It is 7:15, okay. We have our official timekeeper here.
Okay.
All right, the agenda item on at 7:15 is Joseph Martin and Pactuck Acres Daycare Center relative to a request to amend the order of conditions relative to 141 Auburn Street. And was this advertised as
Oh,
a
yeah.
request to amend? Okay.
Oh, yeah.
All right, I wasn't sure. Good evening. Okay. Good evening, sir. Are we all set, or do we open the hearing?
Well, he's taken out his,
Getting out his stuff.
Correct people.
I'll make a motion to open.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, so voted. All right, so this is all relevant to that pipe that goes under your property.
Yes.
So, I understand we have some changes.
Correct. I guess start with these are just some of the,
Oh, thank
from the
you.
first notice of intent.
Oh, okay.
And then these are all the copies from this.
This one.
local folder.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, following the last meeting, after we had our notice of intent hearing, the town engineer had some additional requests for us regarding that pipe. One of the main things was that we did not anticipate with cameraing the pipe was that it actually has to be jet cleaned in order for them to get their track mounted camera through there.
Okay.
So with that, what they do is they'll actually set up on the downstream end, and they run the jet up. It's just basically a tube that actually sprays the water backwards. And so with that, I've included just an 11 by 17 figure, just kind of noting a couple of the key points. Really just temporarily, they have to put up either some hay bales or silt fence, just to make sure if there is anything that comes out, that be, collected, and then it can be cleaned up if necessary. I know that, hopefully we've had a lot of rain. There may not be a whole lot of debris in there, but it's something they'll still have to do and take the precautions.
So, do you know the present condition of the pipe, or is this going to let you see what the condition of the pipe is?
Correct. It'll let us see what the condition is on the inside.
So, if it's deteriorated, then you might have to replace it?
It's possible, but there's also the possibility that if it's not, it can remain as is. I know the ends of it look like they're still in good shape. I mean, it's been there for a while. So I know that the town did go in the catch basin that's located in Auburn Street. The town engineer told me, I guess, they jet cleaned that recently. And we're able to see the spray going into the 24-inch pipe, but weren't really able to get in there to see how where that it connects into the 24-inch pipe.
Any idea how old that pipe is?
That we don't,
Okay, so it's concrete.
correct.
And the town is asking you to do this? The town isn't doing this?
Correct. Yeah, and we have a quote, G&L Plumbing is a company that has the equipment to do this. And I think it's around $1,500 to $2,000 to actually do camera inspect the pipe.
And you will provide us with a copy of the report?
Yes, if that's something you.
I think it is something I'm curious to see what they come up with.
Now, is the town going to be on site to observe the test?
Not that I'm aware of.
So you just have to provide them with a report.
Yeah,
As far as we know, yes.
And it says that you're gonna maintain ownership of the culverts.
Of the 24-inch pipe,
Yeah,
we're gonna grant the easement to the town,
Yeah.
for the 12-inch pipe, and then we're gonna grant an easement to the town where the ditch goes into an 18-inch pipe
Yeah.
under the road.
but the 24-inch one
We're gonna- yeah.
itself, you're keeping. Any other questions?
Did you guys go to the DCG? Yeah. And when did this comment come in? Before or after DCG?
That one, I think it was after.
I believe
Yeah,
it's-
it was just after our hearing had ended.
Yeah.
Was the town engineer or the assistant engineer at the DCG when it went?
I don't believe, the original one going way back to, gosh, had, months prior to submitting our site plans. I don't know if they were, I think the assistant town engineer may have been there.
We actually have gone to DCG twice, and I think they were definitely, the system was definitely there one of the times.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so no other questions from the board? Is there any public comment or
Well,
question?
there's one other point too, I guess it should be aware of also that the town engineer requested with respect to the drainage. It was another change that came up after, that's on the plans, was originally we had a series of catch basins with a water quality unit.
Yes.
But one of the other issues with the intermittent stream, the town engineer felt it was better to have less flow to the intermittent stream. So one of the changes, because it is a redevelopment, was to keep the existing paved surfaces. We were able to shrink it slightly, continue to drain towards Auburn Street as they do currently. And then the additional paved surfaces here, we had to add another stormwater basin in the front, so that similar to the side parking area, there'd be sheet flow to a gravel strip and then an area for the water to infiltrate naturally. What it does do, we will have to have sort of the overflow extend a little bit into the 25-foot no disturb zone, but it does eliminate the need to dig up the bank of the ditch and to put an additional pipe discharge into the intermittent stream.
Did the town engineer indicate to you why he felt it would be better to have less flow going into the intermittent brook?
Again, it's in his engineering opinion, he just felt it would, it'd be less from a flooding concern, given there's a lot of water that comes through this area.
And I'm just wondering about the impact on less water in the intermittent brook stream.
It flows about the same. I mean,
It's not gonna be less.
right.
It won't be less?
No.
Yeah, the majority of water, actually, there's really no water from this site that actually goes to the stream. It's actually all the Bryn Mawr Ave drainage.
Bypass.
comes through.
Once that pipe gets clean, there might be actually more.
Well, that's true too, if all the debris is out of there, I suppose. Okay.
I just have one more question.
Yes, go ahead.
This was peer review, correct?
Yes. I
This
will-
went through Graves Engineering?
Yes, it
and-
did.
Yeah, it
and
did.
They did. So
Yes.
I guess my question is, why is the engineering department,
Yeah. this
which
is-
has been telling us they can't do it, and they're
Right.
charging people thousands of dollars for private consultants?
This has been happening more and more frequently.
I really have a problem, and perhaps the chair and the vice chair should talk to the manager about, if we're asking people to spend money to peer review, I don't think the engineer can be coming in as a Latter-day Saint and trying to, and I'm not saying anything, he may have improved it, and that's great, but either you're in or you're out. You can't be putting people through this. It's not fair to the,
Well, the reason,
it's not fair to the applicant.
we've been doing peer reviews now for a few years, and the reason why it was started was because the engineering department was too busy
I know,
to be involved with the town, with the day-to-day projects and the other boards' needs.
I know.
And lately this has been happening, and I don't
And that's
disagree
a
with
problem.
you. Yeah,
Well, then maybe, you know, clearly, maybe things are changing and the engineering department has the ability to
assistant now.
handle, right? They have more, they have more manpower, and so they could in fact start reviewing more projects without the need for peer review.
exactly.
So, which would be a benefit to the applicant. So,
Right.
I think it's something we should maybe, as Dan suggested, take up with the town
Manager?
manager, maybe with Mr. Coyle.
Okay. We can certainly do that. All right, so, were there any comments from butters or anyone in the audience? Okay. Are there any other questions from the board on this particular
No.
matter? And you didn't hear any comment back from DEP, did you, on your request to amend? No. Okay. All right then, is there a motion to close?
So moved.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So voted. All right,
Thank you all.
thank you.
Thank you.
Is there another motion at
Thank
this
you,
time?
David.
No, I'd say, well, maybe. In that case, I would move to allow the applicant to amend the order conditions as per the letter from Faced Engineering dated April 24, 2014, provided that the applicant provides with a copy of the results of the jetting of the 24-inch pipe.
Is there a second to that?
Second.
Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So voted. So you'll be good to go from us.
Thank you very much.
Thank
you very much.
Thank you.
Good night, everyone.
I'll make a motion that we send a letter to the town manager about the issue that I raised.
Okay, is there a second on that?
Yeah, I'll second that.
Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So voted. All right, so Michael, maybe you and I can draft that letter.
I was hoping.
You were hoping? We'll draft it, okay? All right.
Do we have time? Can I say something from miscellaneous?
Of course.
I had mentioned previous, while we were talking about the status of Hack Chug Golf Course, and we do have a fund available for, that has been sitting dormant for however many years, to acquire open space. And the idea, I know, in the master plan was to add a buck or two to a round of golf to be dedicated to that fund.
Okay.
I'd like to send a letter to the manager while they're doing whatever reorganization they are, just so they keep that in mind. And I mentioned it at the open space meeting as well, so there did seem to be some interest.
Do you have any idea what they have for funds? to
In
borrow?
the dormant fund?
Yeah.
I think it's
Last
like 6,000 to 9,000. I
Yeah,
don't
the
think
last
it's
time it
more
was
than
about
that.
$9,000.
No.
No.
And I mean, this could help us leverage some of those 61B properties that come up, you know, even, God forbid, the Krasowski Farm come
Mhm.
through, even if we can purchase part of it, you know, that would be, I'd rather be ahead of the curve.
You know, this issue came up, I think, several years ago when it was about abandoned or tax title property. And there were portions of property that were not buildable, that would have been perfect for open space. And I don't think anything ever came of it. I mean, I think it's an idea worth exploring. And yeah, I would have no issue or problem in making a suggestion along those lines.
Is that in the form of a
I will
motion?
make a motion that we send that to the chair, to the town manager.
I'll second that.
Okay, any other discussion on that? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So voted. Good suggestion. We'll get it up. At least that way she's aware of it as she's planning for the changes that are going to be made up there.
Right.
Okay, we still have 6 minutes before the 7:30 public hearing can start. So is there a motion to take a 6-minute recess?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So voted. Two notices of intent scheduled for 7:30 from Central Mass Builders. I'd like to open both hearings at the same time.
Thank you.
Since they're adjacent to each
Sure.
other. Is there a motion to open both?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The hearings are open, both. Thank you.
Who seconded that, Dan?
I did, yes.
Yes, you did.
Good evening.
Hey, my name is Patrick Burke. I'm an engineer from HSMT Group representing Central Mass Builders. The owner of Central Mass Builders, Mike Conan, couldn't make it tonight. His employment conflicts, he regrets it, but he said we can represent him tonight, and he can make the next hearing or the site visit if we decide tonight. I'm also with our office, Carol Redden, the engineers, and Zach Couture. We were contacted by the proponent about a month ago. He's proposing 2 single-family homes at the corner of Oxford Street, William Street. He purchased the property in January, was unaware at the time, with the plans that he had from the engineering, that there was wetlands on the site. He went in there, started development, started clearing. About a month ago, town engineer was on site, noticed that there possibly was wetlands on the site, asked him to determine if there was. Town engineer couldn't tell when he was out there if it was or it wasn't, but asked him to confirm that. So he had stopped construction, he was clearing the site then. Central Mass Builders stopped construction at that point, notified Echo Tech to come up to the site. They determined there was wetlands in this southern corner here of the lot. And after that, they contacted us, so we could file the notice of intent tonight for both lots. We came in with 2 notice of intents for the lots, present them tonight together and consider them separate. And hopefully we'll come to get the order conditions. Currently, he has cleared the lot of the land up here. The land slopes from William Street to the back. There's a large rock outcrop in the central, taking up about 1/3 of the bulk of the combined properties here, which kind of restricts the development on the site. The neighbors here, there's a chain link fence here, and there's no sites developed over here. There's grass on the outside. It's kind of made it difficult for them to determine there was wetlands until they actually had been working within the buffer zones here. We're here tonight because we're proposing mitigating measures. We need to determine what kind of mitigating measures we need to do, and we're also proposing future construction of the site for when we get it running. Lot 2. The jurisdictional areas are with the Mass DEP. We're strictly within the 100-foot buffer zone. We have impacted the wetlands. We need to determine how we're going to resolve the issues with the wetlands there. We've stopped that now. Within the town of Auburn, we have been in the 25-foot buffer and the 50-foot buffer and the 100-foot buffer. With the future development, the final on Lot 2, which is over here to the east, we've been able to keep all the grading outside the the impervious areas outside the 100-foot buffer, the driveway and the home. There's also the grading, we kept it outside the 50-foot buffer also. On Lot 3, it's a little bit closer to the wetlands. In the future, we're going to stay outside of the 25-foot buffer. We're also, since we've cleared some land in there, we need to determine what kind of mitigating measures we need to take to replant trees or plants within that 20-foot buffer. Under the final development, there will be no impacts into this zone. We're not planning any development there. There will be grading impacts within the 50-foot buffer zone outside of the proposed home. Proposed home is going to be outside of the 50-foot buffer to the bordering vegetated wetlands. And that's about as close as we can get to the front of the lot to provide adequate parking here. We're also coming in with some waivers that we would like to request permission to do for Lot 2 over here on the east. We're requesting a waiver to submit a drainage report. We can provide the drainage reports. It isn't required for the Mass DEP, and because of the ledge outcrop here, we would usually use the drainage report to provide some kind of mitigating measures, but with the ledge outcrop, there's not really anything we can do for infiltration here. There's no street drainage in William Street, so we can't really tie into a drainage here. So we would have to outlet, and the outlet would come down here and probably impact closer to the wetland zone here if we were able to put any kind of infiltration measures for here. We're not required to infiltrate anything because we're outside of the 100-foot buffer for the local bylaw for Lot 2 also. For Lot 3 over here to the west, We're asking for a few more. We're asking for permission to work in the 50-foot buffer zone for grading purposes only. We'll be keeping the home and the driveway outside the 50-foot buffer. We're requesting permission to work within the 25-foot buffer zone to mitigate the clearing that has already occurred there. We're also requesting waiver to the infiltration requirement for working within the 100-foot buffer, putting impervious area for the rooftop and the driveway. It's just, there's a ledge outcrop here, so there's ledge pretty high up here. I don't think we'd be able to get an adequate infiltration system in the area here without impacting, putting it closer to the wetlands areas down here. It looks like the soils that may be adequate would be over here, but the groundwater might be an issue here too, since the wetlands are here. We're not going to be able to get the separation of groundwater. And there's no outlet that could go into William Street.
You're not proposing to remove any of the ledge?
They will have to remove some of the ledge for the in the area of the proposed home. There's an outcrop here. It's going to leave it there. There's going to be a knob here. Right now, I don't think we're going to be able to take that out. It's pretty tight in there.
So I'm just trying to visualize this. So you're going to build the house, but then right next to the house is going to be a rock outcropping.
He's going to try and blend that in with the side of the house here. He's going to put a deck on this side and keep this here and raise the house up to elevation 100, which is about the same as elevation as the ledge here.
Okay. Now, in relation to the house on the other lot, what's that lot?
Lot 2.
Lot 2, rather. Is the house on lot 3 going to be higher than the house on lot 2?
The house on lot 2 is about a foot lower than the house on lot 3.
Okay. And so there's no drainage in William Street. What about, is the sewer connection is going to be into Oxford Street?
The sewer, I believe the sewer on William Street will be connected to William Street for sanitary sewer.
I see.
I have to say, the first thing, when I was reading the filings, the first thing that jumped out at me when I looked at Ecotech's reports on both of them, in the first paragraph, Art Allen from Ecotech says that these are preliminary reports and they're not to be used for filing the notice of intent. So I guess my question is, why don't we have finalized reports from Ecotech, including the field data forms and all the other information that we would need?
We can get those for you. We can have a finalized report. He had asked at the time. He was trying to determine if it was wetlands.
He being
Ecotech, the
Okay.
Ecotech representative, had flagged the wetlands. He wanted to go back in about a month to see what kind of vegetation was out there
Right.
to prove or disprove. that
Because
it
this
was,
is the time of the
a
year to do
wetland.
that,
Yes,
sure.
and it wasn't the time.
Mhm.
And that's what we could actually finalize those. We wanted to get before the board as quick as we could, just so you guys knew what was going on out here, and we could address the issues coming up with the wetlands.
Were these lots, when were these lots created?
I'm not sure when they were created. I know the owner purchased them in January and was unaware of the wetlands, and he actually contacted the other engineering firm that had the lots, and they had indicated that they thought the wetlands were off-site here, that they were aware of them, but they hadn't shown on any design plans that he had seen. They weren't his engineers.
Now, I know under the wetlands regulations, the state law, a single-family home is not subject to stormwater requirements.
Yes.
But is that why you file these separately?
Did we
If
file
you had
it?
filed one notice of intent for 2 lots, you would have had to follow stormwater management regulations, would you not?
No, it would be 4 lots.
It's 4 lots? There are 4 lots?
No, there's 2 lots here. It's, you don't have to for 4 lots.
Up to 4 lots, less than 4 lots.
Yes.
Okay. So why were the notices of intent filed separately?
Because we thought we would be able to continue the constructors to schedule. We could build on this lot. We figured earlier we could build on this. Just in
It would
case.
have been less filing fees if you would have done 1 filing.
That's good.
I'm just
I-
curious.
No, Ecotech advised us to file them separately also.
We only have, just so you know, we only have 1 DEP file number on lot 2.
Yeah, that just came
It
today.
just came in today. And
Like just before I was leaving, it was emailed.
And just, you know, as you probably know, we have to have the
Yes,
file
separate
number
ones.
before we can issue a
Sure.
decision. I'm sorry, we kind of interrupted your presentation. Did you have more?
Nope, we're asking for waivers to a couple of the fees too. Waivers for coming in late after the fact for doubling of the fees, we're going to ask for a waiver for that because it would create a financial hardship. We've also been asked to, there's a waiver fee too. We'd also like to ask to waive the waiver fee also, if possible.
Okay. Now, one of the things you said in both cases that you needed to determine what you wanted, what you were going to do for mitigation. Could you elaborate on what you meant by that?
We kind of wanted input from the board. We'll probably be coordinating with Ecotech. We have, I think it warrants a site visit. If you guys have been to the site, I don't know if anyone's been to the site.
We have.
We have.
And, I'm not a wetland specialist. I don't know what they would be putting out there, or I can tell by the soils, but I can't identify the plants out there, so I'm not really sure what we'd be looking at.
We do not provide advisory opinions. That's
Yeah,
our
I
role.
think we'd be looking for what you're
Okay,
proposing.
we propose and. Okay.
Right.
We can work
You
with
propose,
Ecotech.
we approve,
Sure,
or not,
yes.
whichever. It's kind of hard to tell you what to do and then to vote on it.
Yes.
Kind of like being conflicted,
Mhm.
you know? All right, I think there are probably a lot of folks here that have questions. Assuming the board members are all set for right now, I'm going to take questions from the audience. I'd like one person at a time, and then leave your name and address for the record, please. So, is there someone that would like to ask a question? Go ahead.
Gary Burnett, I live on 7 William Street, next to where they're building. Are they gonna be able to stop this water from coming over my property? Because it's like a pond. It goes all the way across my driveway. Are they gonna be able to stop this water from coming over?
Is number 7 right here, sir?
Yeah, because right now, it's coming over, it's flooding my lawn and going across my driveway.
in front of our tool shed.
Is there a way to stop it?
How long has it been like that, sir?
It wasn't that bad, now it's worse since they took the trees
Since they
down.
took the trees down.
It's worse. And, you know, I just wonder if the builder's gonna be able to stop this water and what he has planned.
Right now it has water kind of shedding the same pattern that it was from the site. It looks like it comes to this site and heads down to the wetlands and continues off into the kind of the path into the woods down here. We may be able to create a little bit of a swale, kind of respecting the buffer zones, if we can do that for mitigating measures within the buffer zones here. We may be able to kind of redirect the water here from where it's going currently.
Whatever they can do, I appreciate it, because they're gonna build it, because it's awful. It's all flooded.
Is your driveway right next to the lot?
Yes.
The lot line?
Yes.
Yes, I'm right next to it.
Right next to it.
So you had some water before, but
It's
a lot
worse now,
more.
since,
It's worse since
I think the
they-
trees suck up the water and now it's
Sure,
gone,
they do.
it's worse.
Okay.
Okay.
Would that be something the Conservation Commission would be happy with, to create the swale within the buffer zone? Is that something?
You've already been warned.
Yes,
I think if that's something you're going to propose, we'll have to
yes.
take it under
Yes.
advisement and consider it in the order. Does someone else have a question? Yes.
I'm sorry.
All right, go
Yeah,
ahead.
hi, I live on Oxford Street, Bruce Fredericks, 234 Oxford Street.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering, because of the ledge over there, are you going to be blasting over there, or are you going to be drilling to break up the ledge?
I'm not sure, that's up to the contractor. I don't know if he'll be blasting. It seemed like it was loose, if he's gonna, I think he wants to leave, this area was a knob, I think he's gonna leave, because it looks like he'll probably be ripping it out, but I can't really speak. He'll be at the next
Only
hearing.
concerned because I got a regular artesian well, and if they're blasting, is that going to affect my
Yes.
well, or is it going to have problems with structural problems in the house? So
Water in
I'm concerned
the
about
cellar.
that.
Yes, it looks like he's gonna rip it, and then he'll have to do a survey. If he's gonna blast, he'll do a survey within the area, I believe he has to, the blasting company, if he does, I'm not sure.
I'm curious.
And with that water problem, that's going to be draining off onto my property, because I have the woods all the way back there. Are they going to be putting pipes in there to
Right now, we're not proposing
bring it
any-
down through?
We're not proposing any drainage, infiltration or anything like that. It's gonna shed the way it did before. And come here, we can address that with swales along our property line and kind of redirect it back towards the wetlands.
Oh, okay.
Is this your property, sir?
Pardon?
Is this your
on-
property,
He's
sir?
on Oxford Street.
Which number Oxford Street? were you on?
234.
234?
Yeah, 234. I'm next.
You're
Right on the
border.
line from the wetland.
You're on the corner of Williams,
Yeah.
right? You're on the corner of Williams and Oxford, or are you one
Well,
house
yeah.
removed?
With the
Right, one
house in
over.
the middle between
One over.
Oxford
Okay,
Street.
so you're two removed from the corner, okay.
Yep.
Was there another question over here? Yeah.
Steve Paulina, 10 William Street. Just so you know, everybody in that area all have artesian wells. And the concern is, with this moving of the rocks and so forth, is it going to affect the aquifer or our well systems? There is water that's held behind those properties, as you said, that goes right behind, parallel to William Street, all the way back down. So there's been, there's water in that area. Matter of fact, we're on the high side of the ranch across the street, and we're kind of on the high ground. But a day or two of rain, and that whole side of the road in the woods there holds water. The whole thing holds water. It's wet all the time. Matter of fact, number 9 is now abandoned. They actually have basically like a little stream that runs underneath their house, because their house was kind of like, has no foundation, or has
that's not
no
good.
cellar. And they were actually excavating and putting bags of
That's right
concrete,
next to 7 Williams.
dry bags of concrete, just to keep the house from sinking.
Yeah.
That's on that side of the road. So it's a real concern, that was the...
Well, it seems to me that if there are artesian wells in the area, the Board of Health needs to be involved in this as well.
Well, I was thinking too, the town engineer.
Uh-huh.
Since if they've got time on staff, I'm wondering if maybe we could ask the town engineer to take a look at this filing and the plans from an engineering aspect to see what he thinks about the drainage situation.
I think it's a great idea.
I mean, I didn't realize that you're not, under the Wetlands Protection Act, you're not required to do it, but
No, the borough is willing to work with everybody. We could have a
I
working
just
session
think
or something.
that,
with
I
the
think we should have an engineer.
Well, I think given
Look at it.
the nature, I think it's, that neighborhood of that street is very unique because
Yes.
of all of the artesian wells and
Exactly.
the potential
And the
impacts
ledge.
from the development of this lot, I
Yeah.
think requires a response from the town engineer.
Just so you know, most of us have well water and town storage.
Right.
You all do.
Yes, I can.
Okay. Well water and town sewer.
And how's the quality? Good?
Quality's great.
Okay.
Okay. All right. And does anyone else have a question? Yes.
Cynthia Burnett,
Okay.
his wife.
Yep.
I just wanted to make a statement as concerning that the builder he's stating that he did not know about the wetlands. When they came to survey that land back in January, we told the surveyor there is wetlands there. We've been there 30 years. We told him about that. He says, oh, there is? I says, yes. He says, oh, that's a different story. Nothing, it went like through deaf ears. So as far as him, buyer beware, not knowing, I don't believe it. We told him. Yes, surveyed 6 times.
I'm sorry, what was that?
It was surveyed 6 times.
Surveyed 6 times?
Yes.
In January?
No, from January on
Oh, till current?
till now. Yeah, to what? Yeah, last week.
Just last week, and over there again.
Yeah. I mean, how many times can you survey?
Until we get it.
Yeah.
Are there any other questions or comments? Do you
I know
have any?
Mike had a question.
I'm sorry.
Mike had a question.
Oh,
No, actually, I'm all set. But it seems like clearly we're not going to be able to, it strikes me as a very sort of preliminary meeting. So
Yeah.
I presume you're certainly going to be looking for a continuance, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. So I guess the question is continue it to when?
well, we have our regular meeting on the 28th.
Right,
In
yeah.
2 weeks.
Mhm.
It's the 11th, I believe, of June.
Well, the next meeting is the 28th of May.
Yes, and then the one after that.
What's the agenda look
June.
like that night?
The 28th, we have got the SAG
Yeah, I know.
and 6 Jacobs Way.
Okay.
Those 2 right now.
And we don't know of anyone planning to be absent that evening, so, just so you know, there's a statute called the Mullen Law, the Mullen Rule rather, which will allow the 2 members that are absent this evening, if they choose to, they can watch a video of this meeting tonight and sign an affidavit that they have done that,
Sure.
and then they can participate in the next hearing. How long, do you have any idea how long it's gonna take Ecotech to pull together their final report?
They can have it for the next hearing, I'm sure.
On the
How
28th?
long- Yeah, how long would you need to review it?
Well, we have a
At least a
policy
week.
that we require information to be here the Wednesday before our meeting, so that our clerk has an opportunity to mail it out in our packet,
Okay.
so that we can review it for that meeting. So the answer is a week. Within a week, we'd have to have the material.
All right, they may not be able to get the, I don't know if we could coordinate with the times, you know, with
I don't know that you can either. So, what was the date on the first meeting in
June
June?
11th,
Is there anything scheduled, Sheila?
for June 11th.
Anything scheduled?
I do have one, and I think it's the water department coming in for an
What
addition
time?
over on West Street.
What time?
That would be 7.
Okay. Well, I'll make a motion that we continue the hearings till 7:15 on June 11th.
I'll second that.
Okay, so the motion is made and seconded to continue to June 11th at 7:15 PM. And hopefully we have everything put together by then. All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So voted. Thank you.
Thanks for your time.
We just need you to sign a continuation, Patrick.
So we're going to refer this to the town engineer for comment.
Yes, absolutely. And hopefully that will give them enough time. It's almost a month.
I'll ask, Sheila, do you have an extra set of the notice of it? Can you make a copy of the notice of intent?
Sure.
Do you have an extra plan set? Or we could let the town engineer borrow the plans we have?
Yeah.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
You might want to check with DEP too on that file number for that other lot.
Yeah, we'll
Hey, Sheila. Sheila, just give him my set.
Oh, okay.
I'll ask you for a copy later, just so that he can,
Okay, sure.
there won't be any delay.
Okay, someone here from VHB and or National Grid? No, I guess not.
Whoops.
Okay.
Was it John Vieira? I don't know.
Well, he's not coming with someone
I
else.
mean, I did make copies for everyone of the emails that he had gotten and sent,
Yep.
and that whole packet right there.
Oh, the one you just handed to
Is
me
there anyone out in
this
the
evening?
hallway?
Excuse me?
Is there anyone out in the hallway?
I can look.
No? Well, perhaps there was a
They're
miscommunication.
here for, oh yes, okay, that was for, oh yes, okay.
Aha.
There were 2 releases requests. One was a real old one. DEP file number 98-13. Maybe we could do that now if everyone wish to.
Are you folks from VHB
Yes.
or National Grid? Thank you.
Okay.
We're waiting for you.
Oh, sorry.
That's all right.
Yeah, we figured you were running behind.
No,
No, for a
not
change,
too
we're
bad.
No, you're doing great.
Yeah, you can hold it or not.
I think you guys, I know Sheila passed out some emails that John Vieira had sent along. I spoke with him on Monday, and forgive me for not communicating with you guys, but I'm so afraid of violating the open meeting law. But anyways, what this is about is relative to the Z28 transmission line project. They had planned to, rather than walk through the wetland area to run the cabling, they were going to use a helicopter to drop the lines.
Oh, that's interesting.
And, well, I guess the idea was, by today you were supposed to know if the copter was a go or not, because there was some
Yeah.
concern about proximity to the electrical lines.
Exactly, yeah, we still don't
And you
know
still don't know.
if we'll be able to.
Okay.
How about drones? Use drones.
What's that?
Drones. You laugh. I mean, come on. Commercial application of drones is on the horizon.
Drones? Okay.
Drones, oh.
So,
Drones.
so anyways,
I
well,
said drones.
No,
so
I don't think we're
anyways,
quite ready for drones
not,
yet.
not
Yeah.
trolls, drones.
so anyways, if the helicopter idea is not something that comes to fruition,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
then the alternative that they're proposing is to use a piece of equipment called a Marsh Master.
Yeah.
Sounds very scientific, doesn't it? It's a rubber track vehicle
Tim?
that
Tim?
would
Yep.
give them the opportunity to
CH.
go into the wetland area and string along their cables. So I'm sure they're gonna tell you all about it.
Drones.
The Marsh Master.
Sounds like the name of a G.I. Joe character.
Yeah,
So,
And
oh wow.
what's your name?
Mark, look at that.
Mark Bergeron.
All right,
So as
Mark,
John
thank you.
told you, we're planning to use the Marsh Master because the helicopter's uncertain.
Okay.
We've already spoken with Army Corps of Engineers and DEP
Yes,
regarding the water quality permit
right.
certificates. They've both agreed, and they've sent us emails that they
Yes,
agree.
we have those.
So we're hoping that the commission will agree with their standing that it's minimal impact and it's a minor change to the NOI and should not require any additional filing or amendment.
The timing of the work is critical. We're approaching the critical outage periods, and this work needs to be done by June 1st. And I think this option allows us the best access into this area, with minimal impact. It's a low pressure piece of equipment. As you can see from the areas that we have to access, there's some ponds.
Yeah.
So, again, this piece of equipment is a great application for this.
Yeah, the Marsh Master floats. It's got those
Oh.
pontoons on either side of the tracks. The ground pressure is less than 1 pound per square inch.
That's what you told me, yep.
So,
So it floats along and lets you carry your cabling,
yeah.
essentially.
Yep. And it'll be sequenced that we're able to carry a few cables at a time. So it won't be, there's going to be 4 cables total going, 3 conductors and 1 static line on top. In some areas across the ponds, we'll be able to pull all 4 at once, is the hope and the idea. In tougher wetlands where there's more tension, we might have to do 2 trips. The idea is to minimize the trips.
Right, all right.
Is it gas powered?
Yeah, it's like diesel out of yes. But yeah, it'll be fueled outside. Well,
We have that as a condition in there
Yeah.
anyway, no refueling and,
I'm not worried about the refueling. I'm worried about what if something gets punctured and then you've got an issue.
well, the whole undercarriage is like a boat, so everything's sealed, and
Okay.
the idea is that
It
it's
floats.
able to resist. Yeah, it floats and able to resist anything,
be
rocks,
contained.
shrubs, anything
Right.
that we're gonna drive over.
Okay.
So,
Right.
I mean, you get a puncture in it, you're gonna start sinking. So
I would- you know.
That's why I asked.
it's durable.
How deep is this wetland area, do you know?
Which one?
Well, both, actually. But
Okay.
is there any danger that you could, I mean, are there any hidden rocks or anything that could be in there that could possibly puncture it?
It should be able to withstand hitting a rock.
So it's pretty substantial.
It's strong, yeah.
That's what I meant.
Yeah.
And the speed I've seen these things
crawls.
operate.
It crawls.
It crawls, yeah.
It's
not like a
very
motorboat.
slow.
Very slow.
Yeah,
I've
exactly.
been on it,
Especially
yeah.
in the water, the only propulsion are those tracks. So it's just
Right.
it's like a paddle boat, and you just have less tension on the line and just let it pretty much float.
Sure.
I should, just by way of information, mention to the board that Mr. Vieira had told me that DEP was, they're supportive of using this, and they're actually going to send people out from DEP
Yeah.
to observe this while it's going on, because they're so intrigued by it.
Great.
So there'll be official DEP
Well,
staff
we
there.
wouldn't want to disappoint DEP now, would we?
No. Well, it might be kind of interesting to see it
No,
ourselves,
I think
too.
it's a great idea. Anything
Yeah.
that results in less impact in a wetland is good news to me.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
the thought
well-
is that it'd be less impact than
I
putting
still
in
like my
swamp
drone
mats.
idea though, but
But
that's all right.
The drone, I think that's a good idea too.
Thank you. I'd move to
Feels pretty heavy.
to allow National Grid to use the Marsh Master to install the lines.
Is there a second to that?
I'll second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So voted. Thank you very much.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Thank you.
Good luck.
I'll take that like when it's done. Thank you.
When do you think that this project is going to be completed?
It's
June?
yeah, June 1st is
I expect you to be the pilot.
proposed, but it'll probably go a little past June, a
Wow.
few weeks.
Great.
I'd rather
Thank
be
you
a
so much.
You'd rather be
more
what?
stylish vessel.
You'd rather be what?
I said, this is something that I could see Dan doing, and John, going through
Yeah.
doing this. And he
Actually,
said that he'd rather be captain of something more
More
stylish.
stylish vessel.
But this keeps in with your degree.
in your training,
Exactly.
in your
So,
knowledge.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good night
Good
now.
I guess he doesn't agree with you, Jim. All right.
He only has one life to live.
Okay. All right, so getting back to our agenda here. What we,
This gentleman is
Rob
here,
releases
so
for-
I would think
for,
that
St. Mark
St.
Street, what
Mark
is that
Street.
about?
2 requests for,
I didn't look at the other pile of stuff.
they're both pretty old, I guess.
9813, you said?
Yep, and the other one was 98,423. We're up to 700 now.
So how did this come to light?
I am counsel for 1 St. Mark Street Realty Trust. It's in the process of selling 1 St. Mark Street. There's a condition of the sale is to deliver marketable title. Our buyers are requesting that we have these orders, we obtain certificates of compliance for these orders.
Is 1 St. Mark Street the sportsplex?
It is not, that's 5 St. Mark Street.
It's
the
5, okay, so
property-
that's the building closer to,
Correct.
okay.
in front.
All right. So, what's the board's plan? They're old filings, obviously, we probably don't even have it anymore.
Well, I mean, it would be nice to know if we require a as-built plan.
Trust me, they didn't.
Okay.
At least 9813 didn't, because they didn't do that back then.
13 did not, 423 did.
423 did. When was that
423
filed?
did. And I was submitted a plan that we pulled. I was not able to find an as-built, however, and my clients are unsure if one was ever done. They can simply state that this was for a recharge system. They can state that everything was done in compliance.
When was the filing?
Filing was 99.
Yeah.
99.
They did obtain the certificate of occupancy. Well, for the-
Well, but that's not saying much.
No.
Yeah. No, it's not,
Unfortunately.
especially then.
With
I
no
don't-
aspersions on it has nothing to do with your client.
I don't recall. The only thing I remember over there with a permit was the sportsplex. I'm trying to think of 99.
I've got the, did I make
Did you
everyone-
pull the file?
I couldn't find any.
You couldn't find it.
But he did submit, I didn't make copies for everybody, I'm sorry.
There probably was no as-built plan
Um,
submitted because they never asked for a certificate of compliance.
Yeah, the order states that the as-built needs to be in compliance or substantially the same as the initial
Right.
plan that was submitted. I was hoping we could find it so I could see what initially submitted.
So you don't have the original plan either?
This was
I
the
have- I
original
have
filing of
site
the
plans and
order
whatnot,
for 13, and then also we have one he gave me for the filing for the other one.
15 years ago.
Hmm?
15
Well,
years ago.
how are these files vanishing? Who's taking them? Or who's disposing of them, shall I say?
I think they go upstairs into file heaven and then they get lost. That's what I think.
I've been in the attic. It's not heaven up there.
Yeah.
Well, I
This-
was being
yeah.
facetious.
Aliens.
The 198-423 did require an as-built. I think you said that.
Yeah.
Right.
Cue the theme to the X-Files.
But it's a 15-year-old file and we don't even have the file and they don't even have the original plan.
I get that. And I have to recuse myself from considering this.
You do?
I do. I am actually defending 1 St. Mark Street Realty Trust and action pending in the Superior Court.
Okay.
I'm also an attorney. I do insurance defense work, and
Yes.
so I represent them, or recently have become filed an answer on behalf of One St. Mark in a case. So I have to be Switzerland in this.
So we do not have enough members to vote.
We do actually, it's a majority of the quorum, it's not a
Oh,
majority of the
really?
board.
Ooh, oh, nice. Well, what do we want to do?
It's a little tough to, 15 years out, we don't have a file. DEP doesn't have files, they purge everything quickly. They don't have a file, they don't have a plan, they don't have anything. The only thing I can suggest is, I suppose you want to close tomorrow, right? So there probably isn't even time for us to do a site visit.
Well, to be honest, we were looking at closing tomorrow. A boundary issue has arisen though, so I don't think we'll be closing for at least 60 days. So there is time for a site visit.
Okay.
Maybe if we took a site visit just to make sure that everything is
Well, that's fine.
in
I would
order
suggest
and,
that, yeah.
you know, I mean, if there aren't any issues. I mean, if we found an egregious violation over there, I suppose we'd be inclined to not consider it.
Let's continue it to the next meeting, and then
28th, May 28th.
that way, that'll be one less thing on your checklist, provided everything's fine,
Yeah.
then you won't have to worry.
Right, you know, because there isn't any other way to retrieve. Do you know who did the plan back then in 1999?
It was Alan Page.
Okay. Okay.
He is long since retired.
Yes, very long since.
I was able to just find his information about a half hour before coming here, and I do have a voicemail into him.
Good.
To shed some light on the matter.
We have this,
Okay.
And
All right,
we'll get
so.
copies of that, Sheila, and then we'll do a site visit, and
Yeah, and
we'll
if you
take it
can
up
get,
to
if you can garner any information from Mr. Page.
Yep.
Could you please let Sheila know?
Absolutely.
All right then, so we'll plan on taking a look at it between now and the 28th of May,
Yes.
and then make a decision on what
I
to
think I scanned
Absolutely.
this.
And as for the
right on
13, that one,
13 one, when was that issued? That must have been back in
74.
74. Don't even say it.
Jeez.
It was your first year on the Oxford Conservation Commission, wasn't it?
You can smack them later.
It was.
I wasn't
No, I
going
was-
yet.
Simply stating a
I was
fact,
just the
Mr.
clerk.
Garland.
I was just the board clerk then, just the clerk. All right,
I wasn't even a twinkle.
the two, you didn't need to add that.
You're definitely getting smacked later.
And the other one
Well, who's
was,
saying you're twinkling now?
and the other one was only a year old, so let's not even go there.
But anyways, it's rather old, so I'm gonna make a motion that we issue a certificate of compliance due to the age.
On 9813,
Yes.
is there a second on that? Oh, yeah, there's
I'll
Daniel.
second that.
All those in favor? 3 of us.
Wait a minute.
I
And
recuse
one
myself.
abstention.
Yes.
One recused.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so we'll issue that, and then we'll take a look at the other site and make a decision on the 28th.
7:30 or...
Well, we've got other things on the agenda that night, but
Would you want to pass that to him for signatures? What did I say we had?
we have Basad, and I don't know what else.
And I've got another one after that.
Well, why don't we
That's
put
the
them at
6
7?
Jacob Way.
Because it'll be quick.
Yeah, 7 o'clock.
7 o'clock.
That way
Okay.
we can get them in and out rather than
All right.
have them linger through the lovely meeting.
I found it very interesting.
You're recusing, but are you going to sign as a member of the board?
No.
Then we're going to have to get someone else to sign, because we have to have 4 signatures on the document.
I can pick it up next week, that's not a problem.
All right.
Well, Louise will be back. We can
Yeah.
run it up to her
Yep.
or whatever.
We'll do
if we
that.
And
have
I'll
to.
send over anything.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank
Good
you.
evening.
Okay, let's see here. So the other site visits, we still have pending. Helen Prospects,
Yeah, we're gonna do
33 Appleton,
that. Yeah. we're gonna
Magna
do that.
Vista.
We're gonna do that.
The 1220 enforcement order we're still carrying here until the project is finished.
Well, we still have Bridge Street too. right?
11 Bridge Street, yep.
That's the site.
We can take William Street off of there because we've got the filings pending. I mean, we need to take a
Yeah,
site visit over
okay,
there if you
well, I
want,
just,
but you don't need to put it under the other category. And the minutes we have to wait on. And the next meeting is the 28th. Is there anything else?
Nope.
Motion that we adjourn.
I'll second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
What?
Too late.
What?
Huh?
Got away.
The little shed, Dunn's Brook, Auburn High School.
Is that on the agenda?
Yeah.
Shed.
Well, I'm not using the new one, so. They have a proposal. What did they give you for information? It's just a freestanding shed,
He just told me it was 57 feet from Dunn's Brook.
but it's just gonna sit on
Blocks.
ground, on
4x6
blocks.
shed.
There's no
For the
excavation.
garden.
To me, they,
You know what? When are they doing this?
They're going, I don't know when they're gonna do it. They wanted to build it and just set it on the site.
It's
And-
4
Build
by
it
6?
elsewhere, yeah.
What's the purpose of the shed?
I don't know if it's for garden
tools for the garden,
So the question is whether they need to file?
yes.
Yeah.
It's sitting on top of the ground, there's no excavation.
I would I would move that they don't have to file with us. They don't have to file a request for determination.
Well, before they do that, I have a question. Did Parks ever send us a description of what they were gonna do with their stone dust and everything else? Did we get that
No.
from? Well, I would ask that we hold off and contact until they're in compliance with our previous waiver.
Okay.
Rather than give them,
Fine,
Another one, okay.
you know?
can do that.
Is that a motion, Dan?
That is a motion.
I'll second that motion.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, then I'll take the other motion.
I will reinstate my motion to adjourn.
And I'll re-second it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay.
Opposed, so voted. Thank you very much.
Thank you.